The voice of the gods.
Ogilisi.
No.
Ọkwa ji ekenekwa gị.
Daalụ.
Ogilisi kwuru n'okwu mmụọ. Ọkwa jara ekele ga-ekelesi gị ike. Ihe njijiri ọja bido wụ ka m wee kpalite mmụọ. Maka na ihe m chọrọ ịjụ gị abụghị obere ajụjụ. The election season this time around is interesting. And I read an article you wrote on Facebook, and you referred to P2B as a cosmic child. That was striking. So I had to note it, and I decided that we are going to have this conversation. When you say that P2B is a cosmic child, what do you mean? It appears that you are not saying, I support P2B, let him go and win. You are saying things beyond that. And it appears that P2B has given us a reason to go deep into the spirituality of this process. And that phrase, P2B, a cosmic child, seems to be a reflection of what is happening. What do you mean by that phrase? P2B as a cosmic child. What does it mean?
Well, it may not be necessary for me to begin to go into cosmology or cosmic theories in order to give lean strength to the statement that P2B is a cosmic child. I may not need to do that. But
you won't mind if you do that.
Okay. The cosmos is the universe from a mental constructive point of view. The cosmos is the universe, but it is the entire reality of the material and immaterial aspects of the universe. And cosmic time is time that cuts into human history from time to time. Cosmic time are events that take place from time to time that are remarkable, that are phenomenal, that may not happen again. That's cosmic time. So a cosmic child is someone who is born in a cosmic time, or someone who emerges in a cosmic time and representing a phenomenon that may not repeat itself again, or a phenomenon that will be decisive for a people in a particular time. And that is the way I understood P2B from the onset. I have watched him with keen interest from the time he entered into Nigerian politics in Anambra State here. I didn't see him leave PDP. I didn't see that. But the moment he made that move, a new dawn came into Nigeria. Remember that before then, Nigerians were clamoring already for what they were calling a third force. And that third force was a political force that would be outside of PDP and APC. That third force, they weren't very sure where it was going to come from. But they were clamoring for it. They didn't even know who was going to represent that third force. I was not even seeing P2B as representing that third force, not because of the personality of P2B, but because of his political trajectory. So, but the moment he pulled away from the first and second force, he aligned himself with the cosmic time. He aligned himself with the cosmic time. And that was how he became a phenomenon.
In such a way that whatever his journey is divine. It's not something man or quote unquote structure would grant. It is something that the cosmos have taken care of.
Whatever I am trying to analyze here is not the political punditry. It is not being an analytic of history or even doing any kind of philosophy. I'm going totally spiritual. P2B does not know exactly what is happening to him. Those people who are driving the cause of P2B don't even know what is driving them. But nature has its dynamics. People like Karl Marx, in materializing the mechanics of nature, would get out of a moment like this, the communist society, out of a moment like this. But it is clear, even with the philosophy of Hegel that preceded that of Karl Marx, but it is clear that nature comes at a point when it fills up and bursts out. The nature in terms of Nigeria is filled. There is no way this kind of thing wouldn't have happened within this cosmic time. But like we pray, like we do spiritual activities, P2B made a movement, and that movement simply coincided with cosmic time and ignited a phenomenal activity among Nigerians.
Including our recording.
Well,
we had to, I know we've looked at this severally, and if someone's political ambition usually would spark a book or literary work, it is usually things that they will write and then do launching for. But this man is in his house, and we sat for weeks, planned a production, which is not even a campaign production, which links politics with AFA.
Yep.
And we had to look at this phenomenon from different angles. Ojimbo na nzel, wenaga, okubara akoto. These are the things you pointed out. The feeling was so real that we couldn't use English to render that point. It's not like we cannot explain what is happening to P2B. Yeah, it's good I put it that way. What is happening to P2B? Because this thing is happening to him.
Yes.
He is not the happening.
It's not the happening. But somehow he knows. Somehow he knows because he keeps saying it.
If he is not aware, he can't carry it on.
If he's not aware, he can't carry it.
He can't carry it on. So
Yeah.
this whole event has created a lot, including our work. But I would like to look at the AFA connection.
Okay.
In the process, not the AFA itself yet, but there's a question I would like to ask. In the process of creating that work, did the work itself reveal more to you about life?
Of course, there is nothing. There is no work I do that is not opening a new vista for me about the way I see life. You know, when I was doing that work on P2B, like so many other things I have done on P2B. Anyway, you know, the amazing thing is that I have not met P2B before. Yeah, one-on-one.
There is no point meeting him.
Yeah.
We only need to key into this spirit that he is elevating.
It's not even about keying into that spirit. I'm not keying into that spirit. Okay. I'm simply doing my work. And P2B came across as someone you can really look at.
Father, I am keen into that spirit. Yes,
Okay.
I am in many ways.
I was there before him.
Yeah, not exactly, but
I was there before him.
That can work for you. For me, I am keen into that spirit because if one is as successful as he is in life, and he is living a life without overwhelming greed, then it is a spirit I would like to key into. Because that spirit will make my life worthwhile.
I don't look at P2B from the point of view of being successful in life. I'm not saying he is not, but that doesn't fascinate me. What I pick from P2B is the man that he is, in spite of what he has achieved. That a man can afford 10 Rolex watches and he can say, I have only one watch, and it is not even a Rolex. That a man can afford to buy 10 pieces of the latest model G-Guard, bulletproof. But he moves on a local car. It's not a phenomenon that is out there to be seen. But it is something that ignites the divine, ignites the mystical terrain. P2B is not a bishop, he's not a priest, but he preaches more than very many of us. In fact, let me tell you something. Anyway, he said, this year, I packed all my clothes out. I told myself, you don't need these things.
That is that spirit that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't need these things. He preaches. So, I could have been connecting with what he's doing actually, but I connect with it in my work, I connect with it in my prayer, I connect with it in my life, but I have not come to a definitive point where I say, okay, do this. But if this man can do these things, if this man can come up with these kinds of life that he is living, so why not every other person? And he says these things very simply, and I understand them. If, for instance, he will say, if I'm not corrupt, if I don't squander your money, if I'm not corrupt, let me put it that way. My wife is not, my children are not, my relationship are not. We have saved Nigeria 50% of stolen money. It's simple mathematics. It's simple sense.
And the more he is asked what he will do to the corrupt people, the more you ask him such questions, the more he focuses on what he will
do as a person. And it makes sense.
And we forget so soon that he was the governor after Mbadnuju. I don't want Ngige, of course, was a person who handed over to him, but P2B was rightfully supposed to replace Mbadnuju, succeed Mbadnuju. And then he didn't care to probe Mbadnuju. In fact, not probing Mbadnuju helped him to enjoy the obscurity that I sincerely feel he deserved. For at least starving teachers and keeping students away from school. So he didn't even go around acting like a moral...
It wasn't necessary.
So are these part of what make him a cosmic child, and how? Because you said something earlier that I would like to amplify. You said he is opening up some mystical dimensions. This may not be your exact words, but you implied something like this, that he's opening up from his actions, from the way...
Exactly. That's the summary. That's the summary. Because P2B connects to the ball of nature. Connecting to the ball of nature is what the Igbo man says, Akam de Kwachi, Ejimogo, Ejimofo. Ejimogo is why no man has arrested him in Nigeria. And that is connecting to the bowel of nature. He is a Catholic. He may not go as deep as I can go mystically. He may be observing his normal Catholic rudiment. But there is something extra, which is more important, that he does in his life. the kind of life he lives, the kind of, the quality of the ethics he puts out, the morality he engages in is important. So, he has no strings holding him here and there.
Yeah.
See, and this thing he says is very, very simple to understand. If you are in any area of administration, of authority, of anything, and this cup belongs to this company, and it is there for the company, it will be difficult for anybody to come and steal this cup under your watch, or even to think of it, because Oga never did. I had encounter with people that he worked with in Anambra State here, and every single one of them was more interested in what he put into the administration more than what he took out of that administration. It is the attitude of the man on the top. So being a cosmic child is not about his success. It's about his ability to connect with the ball of nature through his human actions.
It is this very thing that you say that I call success, that I choose to see as success. For instance, a man detaching from titles, people who stopped their education at the secondary school level have gone to universities to take honorary PhD. And when they put up their campaign posters, they put PhD. And then people who, of course, went to the university have also gone to universities to get honorary PhD, perhaps by supporting projects and all, and they put PhD. And you keep seeing the narrative, doctor, this. So this is part of the branding. And someone has the courage to be Mr. And I am still Mr. So, people call me all sorts of things. I don't know why. Some call me professor, some call me doctor. At some points, I've stopped correcting them. Whatever you call me, I will answer. But looking at P2B's life, he has made me appreciate that Mr. What I'm interested now in doing is to research in such a way that if there will be need for me to ever be a professor, it will be the headache of an institution and never my headache. So you won't hear me say things like, this person is standing on my promotion. Nobody on earth has the capacity to stand on my promotion. And I have come to this realization just because there was a presidential candidate in Nigeria in my lifetime who is thorough, who is grounded, who is knowledgeable, who is Mr. So you look at this person, you see this person is the child of God. That there is something superior to whatever that we clamor for, that he has connected to, that guides him. So this is why I say he is successful, and these are the things I am referring to. And of course, the material success is very important. For instance, I play Oja. I am very convinced that if I was not able to graduate from the university, this Oja that I play will be looked down upon. Is this what you keep doing and you become somebody? But then I finished from the university and I made it first class. And one thing I do is not to put it anywhere in my post or even in conversation, except when I need to reference it. And with this first class that I made from the university, I am aware that the structure of the department did not teach me Oja. That it is what I acquired from the villages, learning as a person. So P2B's lifestyle takes you to the real deal. What is it about him? For instance, he will call himself a trader. And when you ask him about a question about Nigeria, he won't quote professors or quote the big books he read in the university. He will tell you his real life. Talking about real life, Afa, and most of our conversations point at the need to know who we are as a people. so that through knowing who we are as a people, we can understand life. And it was, I'm not clear, I'm not totally surprised you were able to do that, but I will say the truth, in the way you discussed P2B as a cosmic child in the poem, especially the Alpha dimension, I find that extraordinary. And I think this is where Alpha must go to have relevance in this time.
Alpha is merely the decoding of coded truths.
Decoding of coded truths.
Yes. Alpha is merely the decoding of coded truths, past, present, and future. It is a social philosophy. Many times, okay, the Igbo person says, Uche kadibia jabaro pekafa. Uche kadibia jabaro pekafa simply means that the truth of Alpha does not lie on the instrument of Alpha. It lies in the reserve, the knowledge reserve of the Dibia, through which he can interact with the instrument of Alpha to tell him how to direct what he knows in the reality placed before Alpha. So it's a decoding. And Professor John Anenume will tell you that the highest level of Alpha is Amuma. That means Alpha that you do without a medium. So yes, so there is
without the Ugiri.
Without the Ugiri, without the Okwe, without the Mburego, without Mburoji, because there are varieties of Alpha. So what I am trying to say is Alpha comes at some point when you no longer need a medium to tell you the hidden truths, the coded truths in things you say. So when I subjected the subject of P2B to the phenomenon of Alpha, it didn't need a medium for me to get into there. It doesn't need me a medium. It doesn't need any medium because as a cosmic person, every truth about him is open. Every truth about him is open. I mean, there are people that, on this earth that will tell you whatever they engage themselves in becomes success from a material perspective. And in Igbo, we call it onatarachi. For such people, you may not need Alpha to tell you one or two things, even about things that are going to still happen. I can tell you that P2B will not find things easy.
Yeah, I'm one of
not even about winning or not winning. As we are stepping into that election, there's nothing that guarantees a P2B win. There is nothing extraordinary that is going to happen. In fact, the whole extraordinary thing is that P2B is a cosmic child and that this movement is happening in Nigeria this time. That's the most successful thing. If for any reason or for any favor that the spirits and God wants to show Nigeria, P2B wins this presidency, we are entering into a second level of challenge. And that challenge we are going into, if we don't take care, it will also swallow us. So, but this thing that is happening is a phenomenon that every right-thinking person should be part of. Every right-thinking person should be part of and follow in this, participate in this thing that is happening. Now, it doesn't matter how you participate, whether you are voting for P2B or you're not voting for P2B. But if you want to be alive, profoundly alive, acknowledge this phenomenon that's going on. Yes. So that was why I got a little worried when people began to say, he doesn't have the structure to win. or that he's not going to win. What's the point voting him? Or that this or that, and the very many things they were saying. There is no point you are not acknowledging things that you are seeing happen.
With your clear eyes. Isn't that the problem with the learning that we have acquired today?
Part of it.
A kind of learning that makes it difficult, for one, to do the actual thing that was taught. From the church to the school.
Or glean from the actual thing you are seeing.
You are seeing. From the church to the school. You once said sometime in your homily, when I was during my undergraduate studies at UNIZIC, that it's a problem for you to understand why this professor of mathematics, who solved serious mathematical theories and probably who propounded one, cannot manage his wife. So how is he not able to apply this mathematics to managing this woman?
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes his family? Sometimes he lords it over them in such a way that I know so much, you know nothing. So this learning was not able to make him sober.
It's not part of his life.
Yeah.
You cannot see his life in mathematics. So it doesn't make sense. So he learned a culture that is not within the culture of his own life. So it is a problem of our education. Our education says nothing about life. So it's a paper qualification. It's exams we go to make some marks on paper, and those marks translate into some other marks. And then some other marks translate into some other grade. And we are promoted into some other something. But we are becoming nothing every day. Our very lives make nonsense of who we are. So education, that discussion about education is something that you will do and do and do for the rest of your life without exhausting until we decide to change the culture.
It's good that you once described yourself as or your ambience as Ajofia. And when you were trying to explain what Ogiri Sikru no Kumo means in a previous conversation I had with you, and I look at that expression, I would say that I am glad and blessed as usual to have come into this sacred space and to also share my own space with you in this project, because we have created something that the future generations will touch. Election will come and go. Election will come and go. Somebody will win, somebody will lose. People will cry, people will rejoice. No matter how much you hate another candidate, if he loses, somebody will cry. But what endures is art. And bringing Alpha, your knowledge of Alpha, and Alpha itself, not just the knowledge, but the experience into the rendition which we did, is a huge guide for me as a young person growing in the society. So when we say academics, and academics is not saying life, I ignore that academics. I wonder what I will be doing with it. And when we say life, and we are talking about experience, then I'm interested. So I want to point out that towards the end of the poem, you said, Anyanana. Anyu. That's eyes to the ground. Anyanana. Anyu. And that was the point. I felt like if somebody likes P2B, this piece should get to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he should listen to it like in his car, relax and listen to it, because this is a piece. This is not a piece that says you are going to win an election. This is a piece that analyzes him, just like you've aptly described, describes him as a cosmic child. And this piece affirms that he is. And then it says, anya na koja gwara mmọnwụ anaghị agwa ofeke anya na maka
Ayanana is the game of the gods.
Yes.
It's the game of the gods. And Ayanana simply means Ana is everything. And for the Igbo person, Anyelu means you're not grounded. Anyelu means you're not profound. You're not encompassing. So Anyana means you are careful. Anyana means you are focused. You are looking. You are understanding. That's the game of the gods. So in the art form of Mon, which is the visible Mon, Mon is the visible Mon. The Oja continues to tell them more. Anyanana. Because that is the track way to go. If you continue to look up, chances are that you are going to get into a storm and you're going to fall. So when you look up, look down again. So P2B needed this kind of talk. I can only say if P2B had the opportunity of listening to this, it can only humble him. It can only make him humbler. It can only make him understand that you are stepping into an area you are destined to step into. But at the same time, it's not about you. It's not about you, like what happened to Mark Antony in the classical film Quo Vadis. So there is this cap on top. He said that, and he kept being reminded, remember, you are not yet the Caesar. So that is the kind of thing this will do to P2B, to understand it's not all about you. It's all about the God that is taking you through a destination, through a trackway, into the cosmic reality of your life that has been there from the time of your birth. That has been there. It's not a coincidence that he was born on a naked day.
Yeah, you did that in the Alpha
yes.
Rendition, because
yes.
at that point you were rendering Alpha.
Yes.
You were not analyzing Alpha. You were doing it.
Yes.
So he said he was born on a Ekede, and his name is Onwubuasi. And he has come at this time
to conquer Ase. And what is Ase? Enmity. And what is the real problem of Nigeria at this time? Enmity. So if Atiku Abubakar, for instance, says I'm a reconciler, it's a political talk. If you want to know the person that, if it is in Igbo language, you say, Owari Hanafa. The person that the divination carved reconciliation into his blood. It's P2B.
And it comes right from his name. The name he was given.
Circumstances of his birth. Because these are what Alpha is reading. Circumstances of his birth. Because the Igbo man believes that you come to life through somewhere. So born on a Ekede, you come to life through the Anyanwu, through the sun. And you are the child of the sun. And being the child of the sun, it means you are bringing light. You are bringing light. And people of old are more deeply spiritual than we are. His father, for instance, didn't call him Onwubasi for nothing. And he didn't call him Onwubasi to regret. He didn't call him Onwubasi to slump into frustration. He called him Onwubasi to show that I'm still alive, that I can still conquer, that even enmity could not hold me still. And I embody all this reality in this child. And he carried it. So that the birth of this man brought about the dispersion of the sense of being enemies with others. And therefore, he is a reconciler. And he was born on a Wednesday again.
And you linked it to Obama.
Yes. Obama was born, I can't remember the date, but if you calculate it, you will find out that Obama was born 16 days after Peter was born. Peter was born on an Ekede. Obama was born on an Ekede. So Obama was born 16 days after Peter was born. So in Igbo, it is Ahana no bonano. That means the multiples of 4 in 4 times. That is a very significant number. It's a very significant number. So when you want to read it in numerology, or you want to read it in Alpha language, it means the total balance of the completeness of time. So, and I referred, there are other, when Alpha was saying Jemba, there are other places you can go. Jemba, that's look at other nations and see the phenomenon also happen. There are other places you can go, but Obama came to mind immediately. And I looked at it and saw that this Obama was actually born 16 days after Peter was born. And on a naked day again.
That is why I asked you initially. Because I asked because I have come to that experience too. That in our studies, in what we call academics, we should encounter life.
Yes. That's most important.
We should encounter life because these things were opening up to you in the process.
Yes.
First, P2B is contesting. And you are not waiting for the whole thing to finish for you to begin to theorize.
No.
You are not giving your students assignment to write about P2B that you will sit and mark and correct them what they know and what they do not know. You are making yourself the student of life.
Yes.
Making inquiries. What is it about this guy? And whatever you plan to write that day, that P2B is a cosmic child was not in the heading of the Facebook post you made.
No, it's not.
It was just a sentence.
It's a sentence. Mm-hmm.
But I was reading and I picked it and I said, let's do this poem. It didn't even start as a poem. I said, interrogate, what do you mean? This, that, and then the poem came. So I see this whole experience as something to key into, something to connect to. And if we need a reason to connect to it, one man is out there being the star boy, raising the dust and making everybody talk about him. But if we are talking about him as a messiah that will come into Nigeria and make me to start eating more than I used to eat, make money to be everywhere in my account, end insecurity, end so many things, I think that will be
making fun of the whole thing. It is possible for all those things to happen.
He can do that, but I am not interested in electing someone who I am mandating to do this. Further, this is what I mean. If we understand that P2B is a cosmic child, and I do not, if we say this, and I do not understand how I should connect to this cosmic reality before me, then when he becomes this president, I will not understand that my ambition should be like I used to say. Each time people ask me, why are you not in the US? Why are you not here? I saw you, why are you back? I'm like, my ambition in the next 5 years is to return to my village. And that is where I want to live and work and then travel to wherever I want to go to and come back. How am I having that ambition? P2B is giving me the possibility that this place is a place of pride. His speeches can make you cry, can make one have goosebumps and think of a Nigeria that is possible. He's not just making me think of Nigeria, he's making me think of Africa as mother. He makes me understand that mother still cares. So I'm not expecting magic from this person. I am keen into this thing that this person is making me feel already. And that means that once this person climbs the stage, I will be climbing my own stage too, in my small corner of the world. Wherever I find myself in Nigeria, I will be an exceptional leader because I have tapped into this cosmic reality. So that is why I'm not expecting a messiah. And that is why I, again, appreciate you for taking the first move to write the article and then the poem. Very powerful message.
Thank you very much. Like you have said, I'm not expecting a Messiah either, and not to undermine what
Yeah,
he could possibly do, but that is not what I'm expecting. By the way, I keep telling people that P2B wins an election, we all will be ready to sacrifice more. We would be ready to cry more before it begins to get better.
Yeah.
Because looking at his life and the way he does things will immediately tell you that we are not going to smile. And he's going to take all of us to task. If for instance, he is wearing one watch, do you know whether he would say every Nigerian would be wearing only one watch? And if he says that, would it be easy for me to give up all my watches to wear one watch like him? And is he not telling us that if this Nigeria if you can be successful like I am, then you will be challenged to do the kind of things that I have done. So, assuming that is it. So this is what we can learn from P2B. My child is a teacher in Lagos. Can you bring back all your children to come to Nigeria to begin to teach? You talked about now on your own. You want to go to the village in the next 5 years, inspired by what this man is doing. Now, can other people also see that it is about me? It's about what I'm going to contribute. It's about what I'm learning in this process. It's about what I'm ready to sacrifice if this man wins.
It's about how I live in
the
time that he reigned.
He reigned more than all this noise in the space. So for me, if we have come to the discussion to this level, then it is clear to us what being a cosmic child is within a cosmic time in a phenomenal event like this.
At times like this, the Oja would say, Chakara Kabwana, or Ubejen. All this Shakespeare would put in a very long phrase. There is a time there is a tide in the affairs of men, which when taken afloat leads to fortune, blah, 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 blah. The Oboja would only say Ubejen, and he would be addressing that same thing. That tide is here, and let's see what it turns out to be.
Thank you. The voice of the gods.